When I was 7, my parents bought 40 acres and they bought it on a handshake deal from the original homesteader. So his parents had homesteaded the land and then he had lived there. And then they divided that land into 5-acre parcels. And one of those was always like lot 2 is what we called it. Then my mom was always like, I want to build a wedding venue. I want to build a wedding venue. And so her kind of wild idea became kind of a dream. And then eventually it became a reality. And we built One Sea Barn from the ground up in 2016. And we didn't really know how we would make it work from like a marketing standpoint, and all of that was kind of our blue ocean idea. We were like, we think there's a space here for smaller weddings at a lower cost for the venue, because a lot of venues in our area are really pricey. So that's how it kind of came to be. We have a lot of like neat things inside the house that all like have a story, have a history. There was a wildfire like nearby 10 years ago now, and we took tons of timber from that and milled it into beams and siding and door trim and all kinds of different things. And my grandfather built a spiral staircase in it, and so it was a labor of love for all of us for sure. My wedding was one of the first ones, the very first kind of summer that we started. I think there were a few before me from other brides, but then I got married in the fall of 2017 there. And then my brother got married there in 2018. So our most popular is the fall. And we run like a year to 18 months out in September and October. But then we get cancellations. So like for this coming fall, I have a September weekend open. I personally love the summer months. I think it's beautiful. I think July and August are the best, but our brides really like September and October. Yeah, so our ceremony area is outdoor, and then our reception area is kind of an indoor-outdoor space leaning toward more indoor. So you can close all the doors up and it's a fully heated like reception hall. And then there's also the option to move the ceremony inside if for some reason there's inclement weather. And guests do have to rearrange if they do that, but like they have to kind of move the tables and then set up their ceremony site and then arrange back to their reception setup. But it is an option to do for sure. Oh, so as far as like our total guest count is usually 50 with some flex to about 60. And then that doesn't include vendors. Yeah. So usually brides will come and stay for 2 to 3 nights, and they'll spend like a day setting up and doing their rehearsal, and then they'll have their wedding, and then they'll stay the night after their wedding. And so for a 2 to 3 night stay we have accommodations for about 15 at the house, and then the wedding of 50, and then all like taxes and cleaning, we usually run somewhere between $2,300 and $5,500. The lower end of our range is like our off-season months in typically January through April. And shorter stays and smaller guest counts, like we'll scale the price way down if guests have like only 25 guests. We'll try to make it a lot more affordable and conducive to like a small wedding, because it truly is like less work for us in those situations. So then our higher end of our range is usually our summer months, our fall, and then like if you're at that 50 max kind of thing. So usually we do a $500 non-refundable down payment at the time of booking, and then we do half of the balance due 120 days before the booking date, and then the other half 90 days before. And we try to be really flexible. If someone's like, I need more time, we try to really work with anybody that we can. So our cancellation policy kind of follows that payment policy. So a full refund 120 days, and then a half refund at 90 days. But again, like we always try to rebook weekends and try to give back as much as we can. And like if some of my brides haven't paid by the 120 or 90 days, like I can't go after them for that money and be like, oh, you have to pay it because you didn't cancel soon enough. So we do have some wiggle room there. So no, we don't do any on-site staff and we don't provide a coordinator, but we have a lot of relationships with local coordinators and vendors that we can give recommendations for, and people that know our venue and know the space and kind of know how it works. And so that's always an option to kind of add on with somebody that we have a relationship with. We have a lot of people that we've worked with before and that do a good job that we can recommend. Yeah, so we have a big TV that they can put like a slideshow on. And then we also have like a sound system that has a receiver that you can hook up to with Bluetooth or with like an AV cord. And it has a bunch of speakers throughout the main area. So we have a parking lot, and then we have a it's on a quiet road, so overflow on the road. I've had like 45 cars there before because there was one party that was like 90 people. We don't do that many now because it was a little much, and like they came in like groups of 2. So yeah, we really haven't had an issue with parking because we have the parking lot and then we have the road that is really nice and quiet. So on the weekends, we ask guests to wrap up and at least go inside and kind of close the doors and windows by about 11:30, just because we do have some neighbors nearby, and there aren't any specific restrictions. I mean, we're outside of the city, so there's general county noise ordinances that just apply to everything. We've had people have bands. We had a girl that had a mariachi band because her dad wanted to hire these guys to come do that for her. And we have had a lot of DJs, so all of that works out pretty well. But we just ask us to kind of wrap up and at least go inside by 11:30. Yeah, we have hotels. They're about 10 minutes away. And then we also have like other vacation rentals that we know of that we can give recommendations for that are probably within 5 minutes. We don't have any specific relationships with any hotels because we do have so many rentals near us that it's just never seemed that logical to add that. One of the things that's been kind of fun that we've started doing in the last year is growing some flowers on site. And hopefully this summer we're going to offer some fresh flower packages to our brides where we would prepare some bouquets for them or some vases for their tables. But we have a lot of really pretty flower things from our last season of growing. And we have the accommodations at the house for 15. And then we also own another vacation rental that's just across the street that has accommodations for 18. So I have a lot of brides that book both of those homes together, and we do give a discount if they're both booked together. And then like they can have a wedding of like 35 and everybody gets to stay there for the whole weekend. And there's another neighbor of ours in the same cul-de-sac that she rents her house to, and I don't have as many that do that, but I've had a handful of brides that book all 3 houses, 50 people all weekend, and they have a lot of fun. So I think that's something that's really unique about where we are, is that you can do the whole weekend experience if you want to.